come on up. Jamie Blau. So we have Lynn Janae. Okay, you have to pronounce your last name for me properly. Rasides, okay. She's a sports nutritionist, NMT. Have no idea. Thank you, there you go. Holistic health practitioner. Dr. Denise Harris. She is an acupuncturist. She is an herbalist, an aromatherapist, founder of Grace Wellness. She is also Oprah Winfrey's personal acupuncturist. She also makes sure that she takes care of the skin of Michelle Obama. So I'm just going to kind of try to blend you in all together. But one of the things that I want to do is to say that every time I go to Jamie and my back is out, and I think about people that don't go to the chiropractor. In a car accident, it's a different thing. But so tell me, why would somebody go to a chiropractor? I can tell you why people don't go to chiropractors, but why should they go to a chiropractor?
Everyone should go to a chiropractor because you have to have proper alignment so that your body will function more efficiently. And it's very common for people looking, which I actually did a little research on that today. There was actually a physician who did this study and said that. And there was about 300 studies after that somewhat confirmed that sitting is the new smoking. And it's a little bit dramatic because smoking is really terrible for you. So there were a few people who said that's kind of, 5 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes, but the majority of people do sit at all day. Well, and that was a major reason I decided to go into chiropractic. And I actually feel so blessed that I made that decision. I know you feel the same way because we get to stand up and interact with people.
One of the things that I realized when I was, a lot of us, remember the BlackBerry? Okay, so the BlackBerry started it because you were like this. Now I have to talk and text, but a lot of you don't. I constantly am talking into my phone. I don't use my fingers. But what would happen is that I ended up getting this carpal tunnel, okay, also from the computer. But crazy thing was, I basically could not move my arm. The entire thing was inflamed. And when I got adjusted properly, it was in my neck. It was not in my arm. So here I am, I'm wearing a brace, I'm going to an arm doctor. It wasn't that, it was in my neck. So something happened, it was out of whack in my neck, and then it ended up shooting and said and it was the recurring theme of listening to your body. So Lynn Janae works a lot, and the reason why I was drawn to you is about inflammation, because inflammation is really the underlying cause of almost every single disease. So can you just explain that a little bit, and then let's talk about kind of food and...
All right. Well, I'm sure everybody has in Harlem, nice little community center, and I started to gather data, and I started to teach people how to find the foods that worked for their body. And what was pretty amazing is that when we found the healthy foods, and I can tell you right now, every single person in this room is eating at least 3 healthy foods that are causing inflammation. And that inflammatory hamburger is not. I'm not telling you to not eat burgers, right? I'm just saying don't eat the foods that make you sick.
So how would you know that, though?
Well, when we hear as
about
a researcher,
what you were saying about the bloating, because I think that was a really good
thing. First of all, I'm going to say, as a researcher, we need to just take it back a little bit. As a researcher, I can tell you, if you're reading a study, and if you actually look through the studies and it says 60% of the people in this study, you're going to have constipation, you're going to have hot flashes, you're going to have sleep issues. And so often we're saying, dang, Albert, normally I curse a lot more, but my freaking knee. But your knee's only bothering you when you're eating that food that doesn't work for you.
Right.
So if we can turn that dynamic around, and this goes back to what Ann was saying, what all of us are saying is, we're all trying to give you the tools to understand your body is talking.
So I have this actually, Lynn Janae was introduced to me, I guess through, was it Leslie?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Leslie Jane Seymour, who ran More Magazine, and you were Leslie's lister, I guess. So anyway, so I ended up having my shoulder rip. It was not, I don't want to say, it was a chiropractor that was not Jamie, but somebody moved my arm in a way that the thought of reading your book would put me over the edge. So I thought, okay, I know I have inflammation, and I think I'm really healthy, and I'm having all these healthy foods. Let me just look at like the plan for dummies. I like looked at some of the top tier foods that might cause inflammation.
Red wine's not on there. Red wine's fine.
Okay, it was something else, but it was It was definitely cauliflower, and it was definitely sushi rice, and those were two things that about inflammation being kind of the underlying cause. Why would inflammation cause cancer? Like, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense necessarily.
So when you think of inflammation, you can think of it as the match to the wick of your genetic history, right? So when people say high cholesterol runs in my family, it doesn't mean you have to have high cholesterol, right? Alzheimer's runs in my family, it doesn't mean you have to have Alzheimer's. Same thing with breast cancer, right? But what does wind up happening is that inflammation is the match to that wick, and it causes things to explode in your body. So has anybody weighed themselves at night and weighed themselves in the morning and they've lost 3 pounds? Yeah. They're like, I should just sleep for a week. And I'm like, boom, I'm there, right? That's because your body's healing. It's not through exercise that your body loses weight. It's through deep healing. Your body always wants to be in a state of homeostasis, which means, as everyone on this panel knows, it wants to repair. That's what we're all working to do here. But your body is always going to divert energy from healing to... Now your body's not repairing your heart, your liver, your lung, blah, 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 blah. It's going to digestion. And that inflammatory response can last for 72 hours. How do we stop this cycle? One of the ways, and the major ways, to find the foods that work for you. So for instance...
Because you should not feel bloated when you finish a meal.
Actually, I felt good after the meal. That was the weird thing. Probably so happy to eat pretzels.
But you know that there's some food, and it's not that you've eaten.
You should never feel bloated.
Right, you should never feel bloated. You know that it's your body. Like, listen to your body.
How many people have stepped on the scale after a day of eating healthy and say, how's that number there? How did I gain weight from that healthy day? Right. And then you spend the day eating cookies and you don't gain weight and you're like, I should go on the cookie diet, right? That's because healthy foods can cause inflammation.
Right. So in terms of just kind of keeping your energy in line, I mean, I just also think about it starting with posture, starting with your energy needing to flow through your body so that you can heal. I think that also talks about, that kind of points towards acupuncture. Right. And in terms of making sure that energy and that you're keeping the energy going through your body so that it can be healthy and it can heal.
Well, that's the whole thing. We're talking about homeostasis. Acupuncture is based on that.
What is
homeostasis? Being balanced, being healthy on all. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, you work a lot with people in terms of balancing their hormones. I mean, this is
a big part of my practice is hormonal balancing, whether it be for fertility, which that was a big surprise to me. My whole practice turned into IVF and IV. A lot of fertility, and then hormonal balances because of going through menopause. I was going through menopause and like night sweats. I couldn't sleep. I'm like, what the hell is this? I used acupuncture and herbs and did not rely on, heavy-duty medication to get through these transitions. Our bodies want to heal. They do heal naturally. Acupuncture is placing the needles in kind of reminds our bodies how to heal naturally, which we do. We have that innate ability.
I'm just saying.
He goes like this. And so, yes, we had to go for, whether it be, like you said, find out what foods work for you. I used to be a personal trainer, had my exercise, business for years, and I said, not everybody should be doing the same exercise. Not everybody should be eating the same foods. Not everybody, and that's the punch.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Who has been to an acupuncturist?
Yay!
Okay, good. All right, there we go.
That's amazing.
Love that. Good for you. So who's afraid of the needles? So it's funny because that is a big fear. It's a huge fear. And one of the things that I saw was really, really helpful. I had a daughter that had chronic really bad sinus infections to the point where she had to have surgery because they couldn't even give her the antibiotics to get it out. I mean, it was just stuck. And she was out of school for a month. I mean, she was little, because it's beautiful, okay, not to say, right? But so she does a lot of needles in your face. So that would be freaky to me, and I've had it, okay?
Yes, you have.
I definitely have. But tell us a little bit about that, because you work a lot with with skincare.
Well, I do. Yes, I have a skincare line too, but I mean, that's just
Which is all
part
organic.
of but that's part of the healing process. Taking care of our skin is reflective of what we eat.
I'll just take that part.
So you think of like it's bringing blood flow and circulation and releasing a lot of tight holding patterns we have, whether it be in our neck and their face with needles.
But that's
and
all.
It's extremely
Sorry.
tough.
That's also an inflammation.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Actually, I just wanted to say the sinus stuff is huge because
Yes.
Huge.
healing your sinuses means that you're going to be less prone to issues like GERD, autoimmune disorders.
What is GERD?
Yeah, the roots of the teeth go into the sinus.
In my search of trying to find, again, doctors, especially with children, treating the problem and not the source of the problem. Why is my child getting these horrible sinus infections? How could that be happening over and over again? I mean, it was the same thing with my infertility. I ended up having 4 miscarriages. Why was I? Well, I was old. I wasn't old. I was your gut healthy.
Yes.
But you have to trust yourself. And you have to just sit back sometimes and say, sometimes doctors just don't know
And
what the
ask
fuck they're
questions.
talking about.
And ask questions.
Right, and ask questions. And you know what? Also, a hospital, no one told him how to manage the pain. I put on Facebook. Why I have to go to Facebook for medical care, I don't know. But let me tell you, at work, I went on Facebook and I put out, hey, anybody know how to treat radiation burns? Maury, my pharmacist from Chateau Pharmacy on 68th and Broadway, doctor, they go, oh yeah, you could use that. What the hell? Anyway, puts it on, totally fine. So I want you to. We've got these wonderful medical professionals, holistic people here, but we also have this incredible wealth of wisdom in this room where if we've had experiences. Post it, ask a question, please use it. I also had to kind of move things around. And also about vitamins. And you also are very, very clear about, and I think all of this, and I know Jennifer Leahy talks about meditation, and sometimes we feel like we can't do meditation and we're not going to have enough time, I don't have the energy, I'm sorry, I'm not going to om. But so tell us a little bit about that, because we all have time in the day to breathe. Okay? Are we all breathing now? Is anybody not breathing? Okay.
Exactly.
So Karen, take it away.
Well, as a chiropractor and craniosacral therapist, I think a lot about the relationship between the structure of the body and the function. And I think the most powerful thing about the work I do is that it always makes the right choice. If you cut your finger, it will know how many platelets to send and how to knit it together. And it's really like the interference in that. So what can interfere with it? Stress, inflammation, lack of sleep, a whole series really makes our nervous system more chaotic.
Well, talking about nervous system, because
Yes.
we were talking about stress.
Yes.
And we were saying that if we say to everybody in here, who here does not think meditation would help you? Okay, does anybody, everybody, but who has the time to meditate, right? You're like, right, okay, good, I like that.
Yeah.
You're 15.
But you will. You can be more badass
Exactly.
if you take 15 minutes in the morning.
Yeah.
So I want, we talked about just taking a breath. And when you sit there in your chair right now, and you just go ahead, right? And you what in terms of wait, so tell me.
This. It tells you to breathe.
Oh no, stop it! Oh my God, this is like the best technology ever. Okay, it has to remind you to breathe. Stop it! Stop it! Oh my God.
It does, because it hits your hand, and then you go like this. And
We are all New Yorkers.
breathe. And it
But that's great.
Yes.
Because if we all sit,
is. It actually is. I like it.
I have an app that I use every single morning, and it's free. and if you download it, it's called, it's not my app, it's an app I use. It's called Insight Timer.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what that is.
Insight Timer gives you options for it has all these different things. So when you download the app, everyone should download.
Insight timer is
Wait, hold on a second. Lynn Janae, go ahead. I'm just
Insight
looking
timer
for my-
is what I use.
Who here
And
has
I recommend it
heard
to
that?
all my patients. It's also one of the free ones.
It's free.
And
It's good.
It's fabulous.
yeah.
Who here has heard that metabolism slows as you age and you believe
Say it again.
it? Who here has heard that metabolism slows as you age and you believe it?
You taught me differently, Lynn.
It's completely untrue. And all the practitioners here, as well as I, are helping you to determine what causes cortisol to rise with you. What cortisol does is it imbalances your hormones and it attacks your thyroid, which is your master gland. Mood is due to your metabolism. So when we say that stress kills and stress makes you fat, we kind of hear that, but we don't really connect with it. So what all of us are trying to do here is to help give you tools.
Yeah.
There are ways you can deal with that stress. It might be 2 minutes of exercise. It might be 6 minutes of exercise in the morning, right? It might be the app. But that stress will kill you. It will make you feel less than you. And you don't need to let it be the boss of you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, like, for me, meditation, having somebody talk to me, or I have to talk, or I have to sit in a specific spot, or I was like, I can't do it. And Suzanne said something to me which was basically like, it's going to kill you. Because it really works, and I can sit anywhere, I can just close my eyes, I don't have to, also, that was the other thing, did not want to have to not have my mind wander. I was like, no, that's not an option. My mind is gonna wander, so I can't do this. My mind can wander.
okay.
I can have ADD meditation, that is what TM is.
That's right.
Okay? So it's all good. Anybody ADD? It's all good.
And there's-
sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to also say that there are so many like low-tech ways to recover from stress. So avoiding stress is nice, but like let's face it.
Okay, so Kate is like the party planner of life, like the $1 million weddings. So
Stress-filled body club.
Right, exactly. Talk about a stress-filled life, but that's what I want you to know. Sorry.
Yeah.
I need to know this, but on the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Legs up.
Explain that again.
I'm sorry. hon. Well,
Up the wall. And then
Like you're in an L shape.
just basically your back against the floor, your feet up.
Reducing inflammation is going to decrease stress, but that's not always, the quickest and fastest way to decrease. You're going to find that you're not going to need it as much. So those are my two favorites.
Sleep. Sleep. I can tell you right now that I have shingles. You can tell them. I told my assistant, and it was a Friday afternoon, really busy, my busiest time. I said, "That's it. I'm going home." I went home. By Monday, I was fine. I did get the Valtrex. You have to. That's the time when you do have to listen to the undies. And I took every supplement that was in my house, every chiropractic.
Yeah, because who has not been to a chiropractor?
Well, still pretty decent, but people think we're always cracking. We don't
Right,
like
and
that
they're
word.
not.
We say adjust. I've had 98-year-old patients and I've had newborns. You see a lot of pediatrics. I know that you do. You do a lot of cranial on the kids. And I remember the 98-year-old, he lived till 114. He was the oldest man, one of the oldest men in the United States. He was in the paper. He lived, and so, obviously they have brittle bones. Eggs crack. Spine adjusts. We say adjust. Now, if you're my friend Lauren here, she says, I keep going until I get it. She likes it. So some people like that. If somebody comes in and says, and it helps her tremendously, and it helps Anne. And so sometimes it's the quickest way to get to where we want to get to.
Right.
And sometimes people want that quick fix. But if sometimes it's not appropriate, and we do a full exam, we do dissection in medical school, and we know when it is and is not appropriate. So I just wanted to get that message across.
Absolutely. On the Wise and Wonderful Women's Facebook page, there was a commercial that a friend of mine, Emma Hemming, did with Saks Fifth Avenue, and it was talking about saying, I think we should, or, I'm like, no, we should. Like, why am I saying I think we should? Like, or maybe we should think about, like, so it's like we need to own our power, our knowledge, but also really know our limits, because you can't keep giving.
Love hormone, it's
Let's talk about that love hormone. Okay.
So how great it would be to get adjusted, how great it would be to get a massage or get
Or a date.
cranial sacral, or acupuncture. But what about giving somebody a hug? What about a hug? Getting your skin touched.
Skin hunger.
Skin hunger.
Janae.
Well, I use a lot of, touch is a major part of my practice, and what I teach people is, that's very calming. And a lot of times I'll use essential oils. I always use essential oils in my office. People go like, oh, I smell. When I get off the elevator, I smell. And I know that the smell is immediate. So I use a lot of essential. Actually, I brought some facial mist that I'll just share around.
We should be missing each other.
We can miss, because essential oils, authentic essential oils, are immediately calming. That's the reason I use scent in my office immediately, or touch. If somebody's just even frightened, just touching certain points. I teach a course, self-healing without.
There is such a weird thing going on with social media and just our generation, and especially with our kids, and I hate it. It has to do with dating, it has to do with friendships. If everybody in here met somebody today and called them up tomorrow and said, no, seriously, no, we really should. I'm gonna put a night, and I'm just gonna put it out there, and we should all go to your restaurant. We will be eating healthy, but also we should just go and get together, because getting in front of people and having a connection, that's what it's all about. Like, who the hell, like, I don't need like 25 followers, like, friend me, like, who gives a shit about it? But it's like really about connection, because I think the best possible way, the best use. Trish. So wait, Trish has come. Okay, Trish, I want you to don't take this in a bad way, because it's so meant the right way. Trish is a great blogger. She's also come from is it Bucks County? No. Bucks County. Okay, she has come from like basically. And what it means is, if you really want to make it happen, make it happen, okay? And so anyway, don't wait. And she's great. And then, and also, I just want to also point out, because we actually did a singles Valentine's Day. We actually did a group for singles, and we actually had Jinsey, who's an amazing photographer, like awesome photographer. So if anybody wants to get those headshots done, yes.
I love you so much.
I love you back.
I was used by you, and I just think everything you said is profound, and you put this all together. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So welcome. So anyway, I'm sorry, going back to Trish. Sorry, what was your...
I was just going to say, my name is Randy Stone. I'm a Pilates instructor in the studio on the west side. So,
Yeah.
I was going to say, since we've all been sitting here, everybody go home and do Cobra. At the end of the day, do you know what Cobra is? Everybody, you lie on your stomach.
Here we are. Okay, here we are. That's the Cobra.
That's right.
I want to mention, and then it's Karen's deal, because I know she does a lot with posture. We both do, obviously, it's all we do.
Right.
I have to work on it all the time, and just on a side note, I met this very famous guy who was he was living in Hawaii, and he started Howard Stern, basically. He was the precursor from Boston, and from that moment on, he loved me. So I have to work on it. And it's not so easy all the time to always, I tell people to check in the mirror, look, whenever you walk by, be a little vain, look in the mirror, your ears over your shoulders. But after you've been sitting all day, what people don't realize, I think that we're specialists at, is that back pain can often come from the front, and I'm sure.
That's right.
And the psoas muscle is your hip flexor muscle, goes like this. And it's also the tenderloin, you should know. So what you have to do is stretch it out.
Right.
So do the opposite. Do the opposite.
I can do
Sorry,
like
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm glad that yoga and Pilates is coming up
up in this conversation.
We have a lot of yoga. How many yoga instructors or Pilates instructors do we?
Dance. I mean, if you're misaligned, you won't get as much from yoga, but I think yoga is like body work you do on yourself, and Pilates as well. And I tell my patients, like, I can't exercise for you. I can't create core strength. I can't create muscle.
People doing it, but if you can't, you can, there's, the computer is a great thing. There are so many classes that you can just download and do and put in front and do it. All right, go ahead, you had a question.
I have a question for all of the panelists, so let me just stand up. I think all of you are healers, and I think that this gift of hearing your wisdom is medicine.
The first answer is that when you're 19, don't expect to know it all. Just keep listening to your heart and listening to your path and keep following that path. And if you feel that something
You can have, it's just trust your gut. Trust your gut. It's gut health in its best.
So listen to the folks around you, support yourself with a tribe that supports you, and just keep following your path. And when your path is ready to open, it's ready to open. There you go.
Don't worry. Be happy.
That could be a song. Karen?
Early in my career, like I had a vision for what I really wanted to make, like natural health care. And it's kind of amazing, like, that I became the spokesperson for the American Chiropractic Association. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, literally, they called me, I mean, it's the best non-paying job I have. But, like, I can do that. And I never could have conceived of it.
I think that you're enough wherever you are. I see that a lot because now that I have these millennials coming in, I feel like I'm their mom because I have a millennial.
Apology.
I didn't relax myself, but that you're enough. And I feel like that's at any age, and particularly young women. But I would tell my younger self that you're enough for right now, what you have, and you're amazing.
I think
that's what I feel.
It's enough, and it's also, I think it's so important. Again, social media is airbrushing life.
Right.
If we are not honest with each other, like I was just saying, I said, I can't, every single day I screw up and I make sure to put it on City. So if you're able to share at a young age, or now I just don't give a shit, right? So that's great. It's very freeing. But when you're younger, you do.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just like I care because I want to be a good person, but I don't care because I'm not afraid that I'm going to be made a fool of. I just say how we are absolutely failing miserably every day, and just join.
And getting up the next day and still trying.
Exactly. I am so. Does anybody have one more question? Okay, Kelly Ford. Wait, hold on. I just got to introduce Kelly Ford. First of all, Kelly is new to New York. So she is a DJ for the #1 country station in New York City. And she called me up and she said, do you want to be on my show? And we just couldn't even stop talking. It was like she had to hit the stop button, like, I got to get off because people are listening. And I'm like, we got to keep talking, and we did. And I'm like, we have to be friends. And you know what? I am not afraid to say to people, like, we're going to be friends. Like, right now, we are going to be friends. And that is like an odd thing. It can take people aback. But that's what we are going to be friends, and we are friends. So anyway, answer the question.
Hopefully this will be for folks that have, a lot of times we hear about adrenal burnout,
Right.
and we'll get cortisol tests done, and they'll say your cortisol's higher, 4 milligrams for 4 to 6 weeks, and that will replenish your adrenals. If you don't have the money to do that, because it's not a blood test that a lot of doctors will run, I'll find using some adaptogens like ginseng or ashwagandha will help to replenish your adrenals. And during that time when you're taking it, that might be the time when you say, okay, if there's a special event, maybe I'll just do once every 2 weeks, because for right now, this healing process, adaptogens, you're avoiding the foods that make you feel bloated or gassy. Those little things can do so much and put you back to where you need to be.
And even something like a meditation practice, like you might get up and do your show, and it might be like at 2 in the afternoon or 4 in the afternoon, where you just meditate.
Amazing, right?
And I know that feeling when I'm meditating on a regular basis. By like,
there.
I almost get like my eyes get stingy like a little kid, and I'm like, I feel like I need to, and I meditate, and it's like profoundly, like you don't even realize how exhausted we all are until you start to, and it doesn't have to be a 20-minute meditation. It can be like insight timer, a guided meditation if you're not a sit down and silence meditator.
I think we're going to
There's
throw a
breathing
challenge to you.
meditator.
I think
Yeah.
you should share it with your listeners.
And just saying
I
no.
bet it would freaking freak people
You'd be
out.
friends
They
with
would
like all
love
the
it.
nurses out there who are working weird
I'm
hours.
gonna take care of myself. And what am I gonna do to take care of myself today?
And what are you doing to take care of yourself?
Because everybody here in this room, I mean, who is taking care of them? Who can say, I am taking perfect care of myself. I'm living in luxury. I'm putting the lavender oils, I'm having the scented candles, I'm having the massage, I'm getting my gua sha on my face.
Well,
I
if
don't
do
think
1
so.
minute of that, see, then I have those like, okay, I'm gonna gua sha
Well, that's good.
now, and like, maybe that's 2 minutes, but at least that's my ritual that I chose that day.
Exactly.
12-hour day.
Exactly. All right. We are going to close. I want to thank our fabulous speakers. And I want you to think of the women that you think would be great for this group. Please join the Facebook page. It just keeps us more connected. It's wise and wonderful.